Before we get into the video, I have a couple words to say. If you've been a viewer of mine in the past couple months, you'll probably remember a segment in this video where I watched a QUBO analysis video that I made, which I did not upload due to the very poor script I've written myself back then, speaking in the most boringest tone, and even the thumbnail, which could
boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
Be better, to say the least, which is why I made this video. A better version of that crappy version, basically a reboot, but with the reboot actually being better than the original. But I'll stop talking here and let you guys watch the video. So without further ado, let's begin. TV shows have been a huge part with every child growing up, appearing as early as the 1930s, with Looney Tunes being watched in cinemas, to the early 2000s kids growing up with, of course, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney Channel. But, as you've read the title of this video, this is not going to be about those channels, but one that is slightly underrated and you may have never heard of, and that is QUBO. So, what is QUBO? QUBO was an American broadcast that was shown throughout the United States, that was owned by Ion Media, whom alongside NBC Universal, Chorus Entertainment, and Scholastic and Classic Media Co., announced to launch a new educational brand for children called QUBO. At the time, QUBO's former president, Rick Rodriguez, decided that the brand would be bilingual, offering content in English and Spanish, as the brand had a programming block with Telemundo and Univision at the time. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why was the name QUBO chosen? Well, it had a quote-unquote fun sound to it, and because the root word cube was nearly cross-lingual in both English and Spanish.
Cube.
Cube World, el juego más sorprendente.
Basically, it sounded nearly identical to each other. Now, if you were anything like me, you probably came home from a long day at school, went home, opened the door to your house, went into the living room, and turned on the channel to watch QUBO, solely because your family couldn't afford cable. And so one day, you happen to turn on your TV, flip through some channels, and then you stumbled across a variety of different shows, from wildlife to fantasy violence, from mysteries, animated, and live action, which at the time were aired throughout its program for a decade and a half. But as the years went by, these iconic shows slowly started disappearing and being replaced with other shows such as Time Blazers, Bunnies, Pets and People, and just in general, those early 2000s CGI style animation.
You know, I never really thought about it.
QUBO Night Owl was a programming block at night that ran from 12 p.m. to 6 a.m., which was similar to what Nickelodeon had done, with Nick at Night aiming towards adults who grew up on the Filmation slate. Some shows that were aired during QUBO's night program were, of course, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, She-Ra, Princess of Power, Ghostbusters, Brave Star, Spliced, and many more. The block appeared for the final time on January 7th, 2019, as it was then replaced with infomercials the following day, which the following block was not used at all during its final week of QUBO's broadcast. February 28th, 2021, was a sad day, as 1 month prior to the event, Scripps announced that QUBO will be discontinued, garnering videos on YouTube over reactions to QUBO's final moments, thus also publishing videos in its final moments on air, which concluded with one video showing a dark twist to its closure, showing characters from QUBO's shows being brutally disfigured with the sound of a shotgun being played, thus turning out to be fake, which, if you would like to see an analysis video on that, I highly suggest watching Wavy Web Surf's video on that topic. But the real ending to QUBO was a small clip of the series Inspector Gadget being played, with it abruptly cutting off, showing just a black screen. Now, the reason why QUBO was cancelled was due to the fact that Ion Media's new owner, EW Scripps, who bought out Ion on September 28, 2020 for $2.65 billion, was only interested in Ion's television programming that concluded of Grit, Court TV, Bounce TV, and Laugh that were aired right after QUBO's cancellation. Now, there could be two reasons to why QUBO was cancelled. One being that many of QUBO's programming wasn't all that great, most of their shows really just being throwaway and forgettable pieces of nothing. And two, it just doesn't exist everywhere. QUBO was only affiliated with 67 stations across 36 states and Washington, D.C. Many major areas like Baltimore, Maryland, and San Diego, California are not in QUBO territory. And lastly, QUBO just didn't have a streaming service app like other shows like Netflix, Hulu, and Peacock, which, if you combine that in today's modern technology, would just create a big disaster for QUBO. Thank you guys for watching this video, and yes, I did get a haircut, if you can tell, of course. But besides my haircut, I just want to thank everyone who watched this video in its entirety. It really means a lot to me, and it's crazy that we are now hitting 200 views, as my last video as of now has probably hit 200 views, which is crazy to go from a channel that probably got 60 views in 5 months to videos with my face in them hitting 100 views in less than 2 weeks, which is pretty awesome to see, and I'm very thankful and happy for everyone who's been watching my videos. It really means a lot to me, and hopefully you guys enjoy this type of content. And yeah, so without further ado, please leave a like, share, and subscribe, which I've forgotten to do in the last couple of videos, so I need to remind myself to do this. And if you're watching this video, it's probably Thursday of August 11th, and for me, that means I go back to school on August 15th. And yes, today is a sad day, as I've come to find out that I have no classes with any of my friends for next year. Truly a sad day.